Welcome everyone to another video. Glad to have you here. I'm sure by the title of this video you guys are clicking on this since I've got a lot of interest and requests to make a video surrounding this topic, market structure, and how I'm reading it to find very clean trends in the market and define my entries. We can use this principle and this technique of reading market structure on any time frame. I'm going to be demonstrating it on the 1 minute since that's how I've been testing it and also applying it to my trading. So I'm not going to be talking about the entries specifically or my system in this video. And a quick little plug for ASFX TV right now. So ASFX TV is a streaming platform where you guys can sign up. I'll put a link at the bottom for a free 3-day trial. You guys can go sign up and check it out. And essentially it's 5 traders from ASFX. And you get to see how we trade. We trade live. We show you how we use the ASFX systems and how we've incorporated our own little personal touches to it. And it's a lot of insight and there's a lot of people getting a lot of value out of it. And this video is correlating from ASFX TV. Basically, people have seen how I'm doing my analysis and reading market structure, and they want a more detailed explanation. So this video is for you guys out in the public and anyone else who is interested. So let's get into it. I'm not going to talk about too many other, I'm not trying not to get sidetracked in this video. I usually do, but what we're going to do is I'm going to focus on market structure, how I'm reading it, and the rules surrounding it. So there's no gray areas or subjectivity in this video for you guys. Once again, pause it, rewind it, and if you aren't clear on anything, drop a comment below and I'll try my best to give you a better explanation and explain it much better. And if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notified for any future videos I put out. Let's get to it. So here we are. We have a 1 minute chart on US 30. I am going to do hindsight and I'm going to do this morning a trade I took. So 2 examples, but first, what exactly is market structure and how am I reading it? So let's get ourselves a blank canvas right here. Get rid of that, get rid of those, and here we go. So with a blank canvas, what am I looking at? Well, the ebbs and flow of price make up price structure. And what I mean by that is, let's say in a bullish trend, we have price making higher highs. Let me use a different tool. We have price making higher highs. We then have price coming back down. So retracement, pullback, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing, but price makes a retracement. And then price comes back up, retracement, pullback, like that, right? So this is essentially market structure. And then while we are creating higher highs or higher lows, let me make this a different color so you guys can see it much better. And let me make it a little bit thicker as well. There we go. As we are making high highs and higher lows, that's just the one principle of market structure. We are also creating support and resistance. And these zones act like magnets. They don't have to bounce. They aren't required to do anything, but the probabilities and how we measure support and resistance are good indications of how to get involved in the trades. But once again, it's a whole nother technique and method. I don't want to go into that in this video. All I'm talking about is read the ebbs and flows, and you guys will understand this a lot better as we progress in this video. So as markets are pushing up, this would be a bullish trend. And the same goes for if the market is doing something like this. So extension, pullback, retracement, next leg down. Pullback, retracement, next leg down. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Market can do something like, well, it can't go backwards, but it can go, you know, the angles, I don't care. As long as it's going back, and we'll describe the rules around that engagement in a minute. So there it is. And then once again, support, resistance levels as price does its thing. So let's clear this out and let's get to a real life example of what I'm talking about. So of course, examples never correlate to a real world scenario. So moving on to how do we kind of define our entries? Now, obviously we need a starting point. Starting points, once again, you need no subjectivity. Where do you start your trend? And you can start it anywhere. And what I mean by that is look for your most recent break of structure. So I'm going to be calling it BOS. You'll see it on the screen, but what BOS stands for is break of structure. So what does that mean exactly? The most recent point of structure I can see broken is right here. And then you can see it multiple other times. Obviously I can see it because my eyes are used to it, but you guys are probably looking at this and thinking it's a complete mess. So now let's clean it up and let's give you guys some rules of engagement on how to define the ebbs and flows. And maybe in the end of this video, depending how much time we go over, we're already 7 minutes in, 8 minutes in. If I'll show you guys some entries and how we can take advantage of these ebbs and flows and how it's going to help you in the market. So here's another one. So let's use this point over here. The reason I'm saying let's use that point is because we have a trend line. If we do this right there. So this is our first kind of explanation. I don't want you guys to fixate on this example too much. What I'm showing you guys is the market has broken these lows over here. This isn't significant. I didn't choose this point. I'm just giving you guys the example as to what's happened and how we find our starting point in the market, which is our most recent break of structure. In this case, I'm going back because we're going to play out the ebbs and flows of the market and give you guys some insight into the rules of engagement and how to define the pullbacks and everything like that. So definitely put your phone away and get a notepad and some pen and really kind of take notes on this. So with the wick, and we're going to start talking about the wicks and the bodies. So with this wick over here, let me zoom in so you guys can see a much better example of what I'm talking about. We have structure lows created here. This wick came down, created the low, and what happened was price then extended up, making higher highs. I don't care about all this right now. Everything in here is just noise, right? The price then came back down to our most recent low where that wick we were just talking about. And we got a break and close below that low, so below that wick with a candle body. That violates the structure. Price doesn't have to continue lower. It doesn't have to do anything, but it's a rule we are using, and I should have put my watch on silent. So it's a rule we are using to keep us very systematic and rules-based with zero gray areas and subjectivity. And we must follow these rules 100% of the time. And it makes our trading very, very robotic, and it completely gets rid of the randomness. So lows, candle, break. Pay attention to this. So now what am I looking for? I am essentially now looking for a break above the most recent pullback. So I'm going to look at the most recent pullback, which is right here. And how do I know this is a pullback? And I'll explain this example in a minute. This is a great example to kind of give you guys some insight. This is a pullback because, and this is the rule that you guys must write down and follow. As price made its lower low, so as price came down here, we made a lower low with this wick, and we then had a higher high candle followed by another higher high candle from that low point. So replay mode, here we go. We don't know it's a pullback until we have a higher high candle closing above this candle high, followed by another higher high. So two high candles in a pullback going in a downtrend. I'll give you guys an example of an uptrend in a minute as well, so we're on the same page. And I'm trying not to leave anything out here. You see how this candle body broke above this candle's high, so this wick right here. And this candle's body broke above this candle's wick right here with a close. It doesn't have to be a close, it can be a wick. All right, so what I mean by that is let's go on and draw some examples. If this candle, I'm mimicking this candle here. If the next candle to it was bearish, like so, and it had a wick to the upside, this is horrible, I know. I gotta make my candles fatter so the wick goes in the middle. There we go. Beautiful candles. So if the candle was like this with the wick and like that. So if that was the bottom, this was the second candle, and that was the third candle being bearish. Sorry, the color also doesn't matter. So don't get yourself all confused about the color. Is it bearish? I am just looking for two higher highs, not bodies, just wicks. So as long as the higher high is a wick, hope I'm making sense, guys, then it is classed as a pullback. So what I'll do now is clean this up and continue on with this example real quickly. So price then continues higher, and obviously you can see it sets in this high and then it falls from that point there. All right. So what I'm going to do now with you guys is take you through a example of how we are going to read the ebbs and flows just by coming back here. I'm not going to look for reference points or set points. You will understand that from over here. All right. So let's go. We're going to use this as a starting point for no obvious reasons than just to give you guys the example. All right. This sets our higher high, because obviously price is breaking structure to the upside. This candle here, all right, we've got one or two more rules to go through, guys, so bear with us here, is your higher high as well. Structure is not violated on this higher high because it was a wick creating a high, not a body close. So remember that, write that down. We need a body close above most recent structure. So this is your most recent high. Price then kind of falls down and then comes back up. Retest this zone with a wick, but not a body close. So our next structure high would need to be, we get rid of this and we simply move it to this wick up here. So we'll need this high now, not this one, this high to be broken for that to be violation of trend and a new high. So you can see this candle here broke above this wick with a high, and that now violates our previous structure. Okay. And then what happens? We violate structure, price corrects its high point and then moves down. So what happens now is we have our pullback. So this will make more sense. I'm using this as a starting point and a reference. You guys may need to go back and forth to understand exactly what I'm doing. I'm really bad at kind of explaining this because it gets very technical. So this would be a break of structure, and it would also be our pullback. And this will all come together in a minute when I start drawing the ebbs and flows. So this is your higher low and your higher high. All right, cool. You can see we violate structure because price closed below this structure low here with a candle body. All right, so now this is our lower low because we are now looking at lower lows, no longer looking at higher lows. We then get a pullback. So what defines a pullback again? 2 consecutive higher high candles. So once again, let me get this replay mode right here and I'll play this out. So what creates the pullback is using a higher high. So this candle is higher than this low from this candle's wick. And the next candle doesn't have to close above it because it has a wick higher than the next candle next to it. So this is classified as a pullback. So if the market was to come down here like this and do something like that and break these lows, it would then confirm we are in a downtrend, but more on that later. Let me make this back yellow because my candles are red and you'll be able to see that a lot better. All right, so let me get rid of the, let me get rid of that and go back to our example. All right. The next thing we'll be looking for is a break below this level, right? So what I'm looking for is a break, and that is our lower low. And this high up here, since it's the high, is our higher, our lower high. So this becomes, sorry about that. So this becomes our lower high now. So price is coming down, made a lower low, retraces, pullback, whatever you want to call it, makes the lower high, break structure. So it breaks this low with this candle body, which means we have a confirmed trend. I will explain this better once we kind of get going and get some foundations here. So this becomes the low. And what happens, we have a candle breaking the body, or does it? So looking at this example here, what do you guys notice that hasn't happened to be defining a pullback? If you said there's only one higher high candle, then you would be correct, because we don't create a second higher high candle here, which means it isn't technically a pullback based on our rules. Now you got to remember, it's what we do consistently that's going to make us money over time. If we had a wick doing that where price did move higher than this candle, it would be classed as a pullback based on the rules. But in this case, it is not. So what happens in a scenario like this? This, in fact, does not create the low. This creates the low. And why this creates the low is because we have two candles following the low that are higher highs. So this is a higher high and this is a higher high. So that is the pullback. So this is how I draw my ebbs and flows. Now, to give you guys a clearer picture, we go from the higher high, break of structure, bearish rotation at this point, meaning change of character. We got the lower low, we got the lower high, and then not here, but here is the lower low, pullback, lower low, break of structure. All right, so let me mark these up for you guys. Watch me as I do it. We are already 20 minutes in. Whoa. I'm gonna have to do some editing magic to make this shorter. Low, low, lower high. There we go. And then also break of structure. Bam, like that, because we had a break of structure on this candle here, broke above these highs. See this candle here, broke above our most recent pullback. So what happens now? Well, we can now use this low point. So this is the lower low as our reference point. Like I was saying, how do you find it? Well, here we go. So what happens when we have this break of structure? It violates our overall bearish trend. So let me draw this out for you guys again and save these ebbs and flows. So we got our starting point, which is our higher high. We then have our lower low. Price pulls back, creating a high, which is the lower high, and then continues lower, lower, lower. We have this pullback, and then we have a break of structure, creating a new lower low. And then we have a break of structure above our most recent lower high, violating this bearish trend. So I technically wouldn't be looking for shorting opportunities at this point because the market is shifting in dynamics, which means we now can look for candles that making lower lows, which would be right here. So I'm gonna just end this like that. There we go. So you can see the ebbs and flows, what I was talking about. So as we break structure here, you'll see price exactly how it is. We then have, so we got these ebbs and flows. We then have two consecutive lower low candles next to it, creating this pullback. So I'll show you how it's respected. We have this high point here. You can see the wick up there. We then have a lower low, but the candle next to it does not create a new low. This candle here is lower than this initial high, and it's also lower than the second high. And the candle after that one is a second lower low. So 1, 2. As long as you have two candles following the most recent high, then it is a valid pullback. So what does that mean? Is that creates our new reference point. So grabbing this and grabbing this high point here, break of structure. I'll show you guys why this creates our higher high now, because it's a new higher high. I should actually write new higher high. Stop calling. Sorry about that. A new high. And this creates our higher low. If I can find it. All right. And then market pulls up, pulls up, pulls up, creates this high set point here. Wrong tool. It creates a set point over here like that. And we get a pullback. So we don't get a break or violation of structure. So this bullish trend. So let me get this tool. New high, higher low. New high, price comes back down. You don't see a break and close below this higher low over here. You see how we only get the wick rejections. That is structure respected. All right. So we've had the respected structure on this. That's not what I wanted. On these lows. So what does that mean? Is price is holding that level. We're going to see a bullish reversal, a bearish reversal, sorry. Drawing the ebbs and flows, a new higher high. And then of course, just gonna bring this back a little bit. This still creates a higher low. Even though the wicks are lower, it's still a higher low because structure was never violated, which means our bullish trend in this case is still in fact valid. So what I mean by that is, can I edit these? No, I can't. Just have to do this. So higher low. So we got that new high, higher low, high high, structure respected. And now we are simply waiting for these highs to be broken with a candle body to continue this uptrend. And what we can see is I'm very, 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 very precise on how I measure it. So at the top here, you guys can see open, which is O, H, which is high, L, which is low, and C, which is close. If I just hover above this candle, you'll see that the high is 109.2 and the close on this one is 109.2. It's exact same, which means it is in fact not a high high or did not close above. So we bring the structure over. It would be this candle all the way over here that breaks our structure. So all this is theoretically noise based on this method and approach. So what I will do here is a break of structure would technically look like this, where we have this candle breaking once again, because structure here was not broken with a candle, it gets pushed up to this wick and then this wick. And then of course this wick, and this was the candle body that closed above it. So break of structure and a new higher high up here. All right. And then we continue the ebbs and flows. So we have two lower lows, which defines and creates our pullback, which is our higher low. We then have a break and close above structure, which would be in fact this candle right here. So closing above, once again, these highs. This candle here did not close above it with a candle body, created this wick to the upside. This candle here was the one that closed over our new structure highs, which is in fact a break of structure since we created a new close. Hope this is making sense. And we continue this pattern of higher highs and higher close. Throughout all of our price action during our trading hours. Just creates the high. So that is a new high. Put that in there like that. This creates the higher low, like so. All right. So now if I was to draw out these ebbs and flows for you guys using this tool, we got higher high, higher low. Break of structure creates the higher high. 2 consecutive candles back to back that are lower than the candle that made the highest point, which creates the pullback. Break of structure creates the higher high. We do not have 2 consecutive candles that are lower, so we just keep moving up until we see it happens, and we create this high point up here. Hope you guys are seeing the picture of the higher highs, and also how support and resistance is in fact formed from using these highs. Once again, it doesn't have to be 100%. The market's never going to give you a perfect world scenario. All right. So just like that, where we're using, you can start to see the market dynamics at this point. So continuing on with this example, we have our higher high set up here, and we also have a break of structure because this candle here closed below this wick that created our higher low over here, violating this bullish trend. So I would not, if price was to come back up here now and present a long entry, I would not be looking to buy it. And this is how I am defining my entries and being more selective in my trades, not just taking any kind of entry that presents. I am timing my entries within the structure of the market. So I'm making sure I'm always, not always, but most of the time on the right side. As price keeps moving down here, we have the breaker structure. We do not have 2 higher highs. So we keep moving down until, ta-da, we have our 2 new highs. So let me draw, this would be our new lower low. So if I do this, what I'm going to rename this as new low, because we have created a new low, essentially from breaking structure. It's our new reference point, our starting point. Like I was saying earlier in the video, find your reference point. This is exactly how you do it, where you find the most recent break of structure is your most recent point, and where you're going to find your reference to start creating your ebbs and flows. So we have our pullback. So this creates our, what we call now a lower high. And now we wait for these lows to be broken with a candle body, which we have. All right. So once again, guys, we are looking at the most recent structure lows. So yes, that's our new low. We have our pullback. This candle here did go lower, but not with a body close. So we would need this candle, a candle close below the new most recent low right here. And this candle here did exactly that. We create a new high followed by another new high, creating our pullback. So this is our pullback or our new lower high. And this would be our new lower low. All right, and let's just draw out the ebbs and flows so you guys can see this. So break of structure, not a pullback based on the rules, new low. Pullback based on the rules, break of structure, lower low. Pullback, and what are we waiting for? A break of the lows. So if we were just to cancel this out just there, we would need price to close below this wick. So the low of this candle is 98.2. The close of this one is 98.2. So it's not actually a lower low. The lowest low breaking structure would be this candle down here. So we do get a break of structure, which is right here. The reason I have chosen this point is for the main fact, this is our lowest structure point within this leg that was then violated. All right. And the lower high, that was weird. I'm sorry, the lower low is now this point down here. So anything that presents between these two zones, all right, is just more or less noise. So if I bring back my replay tool like that, perfect. And if I give you guys this example where price moves up, and then we do something like this, oh look, we're in an uptrend. No, we are not. If you guys are still with me, this trend has not been violated. If we keep doing this, the trend is not violated until we have a break of most recent structure above our most recent pullback, sorry. So if price was to break with a body close like so, then guess what? We have violated that bearish trend, and I would not be looking for longs. If price came up and then we just had a wick coming to the top side, same rules apply. We need a candle close above the most recent structure. So if I just get rid of that watermelon looking box and do something like that, I would need a break of structure. Simply a candle that breaks above here with a body close, and that would violate the trend. The trend has not been violated. The reason being is I just pull back all of this price data and go back to that reference point. Why did I have to go so far back? There we go. There we go. And guess what? We just keep drawing the ebbs and flows, and you'll eventually get to a point where you won't have to draw the breaks of structure. You'll just understand market dynamics. Your eyes will pick it up, break of structure, and there it is. All right. We now have a break of our most recent high. So this trend is now violated. Doesn't mean it's going to go to the moon. Doesn't mean start buying it. We need a confirmation, and that is a 3-point move, which is we would now need to see. So we have the break of structure. We would need to see the pullback, respect the lows, and then a new high. This creates what we call the structure we need. And we now know we are in a bullish trend, not just consolidating, not just ranging. We have a confirmed move, essentially. What are we at? 36 minutes. Sorry for the long video, guys. You know, I probably will redo this one. I just wanted to get this out there for the AceFX community and the members, and basically me just talking dialogue and a bit of education. So I've had the break of structure. We've had the pullback. I'm going to continue with these ebbs and flows. I'm actually not too concerned how long this video goes for. So we got lower highs. This was the lower low. Lower low. Lower low. And where the pullback was in here was in fact this candle here. So this was the lower high. And then we have the breaks of structure, which was right there, since we had a candle close below that structure. And then right here again, since we had a candle close below most recent lows. All right. The next low reference point would be if this lower high gets taken out, which it did, we now have broken structure. So once again, I know I'm repetitive. I'm just going to keep doing examples. I think this is the best way for you guys to understand. This candle did break the highs, but with a wick. Candle then sunk back in and not closing above the most recent pullback. This candle here did, and what we'll do is we'll simply move our structure point to this candle top wick, so the highest point, and would need a candle close above that structure to be classified as invalid trend. So what happens now? You now have broken structure, which means you have no valid trend. So what happens? This creates the high, and this creates, actually, to make it more, this creates the new high, and this creates the new low, because we did not respect structure. We didn't respect these lows. We actually broke below it. Break of structure. So we are kind of just ranging at this point. Until what happens? If you guys can answer this, give yourselves a pat on the back. What do we need for a trend to be valid before we can start looking for selling opportunities in this case? If you said a 3-point move for confirmation, you would be correct. And that's exactly what we have. All right. Actually, I'm going to bring that back because that was the beginning of the video. You guys will understand this much better. So we have our new high, we have our new low. We would need these structure highs got respected. So this creates our pullback, which creates our lower high. And this point right here is our break of structure, because we had a candle body. Once again, it's this low, which is our structure lows. We need to be taken out. It does get taken out, but we need most recent structure. So I'm going to pull it down, and I'm pulling it to the bottom of this candle's wick, since that is the new structure low. All right. This candle breaks that wicks, breaks the lows, giving us broken structure, which gives us a confirmed downtrend. 1, 2, 3. I hope it's all coming together. This creates our lower low, like so. And there we have it. 3-point move. 1, 2, 3. Now, if we're looking for entries in here, yeah, you would have got stopped out. Once again, this isn't magic. It's not the holy grail. It's a way of reading price action. I can show you guys multiple entries that were successful in all these little ebbs and flows. Of course, sometimes it doesn't happen. Now, at the beginning of the video, I measured these two reference points, low to low. It's easy once you train your eyes to find the most recent breaks, so you can come straight to a price chart, whether you're looking at GJ, GU, and you don't have to go back and start drawing all the ebbs and flows everywhere. I used to do that. When you start training your eyes, and I'm going to encourage you guys to just do 5, 10, 15, 20, half an hour, 4 hours, 20 hours, whatever time you have in a day, practice drawing the ebbs and flows with the 2 candle rule. And you'll eventually just understand it, and everything will start falling into place. All right. So that was the most recent break of structure I could see, which was this low, and that low broke it, which would hopefully continue our bearish trend. But in this case, it was not continued. We broke structure to the upside. So once again, where am I looking? Wicks took out these sides, right? So we'd now need a candle close above those. Market paused for a little bit. Indecision candle. We got this bullish candle, but we did not close above our new wick. We just created a new higher high with a wick. Same thing, indecision. And then what happens? Bam. This candle here, this massive momentum candle, takes out the wicks, creating a break of structure. All right. And in the process, rinse and repeat. So I'm gonna do it with you guys. I know this is gonna be a very long video. Probably we're up to 42 minutes, but you guys will understand this a lot better if I keep going. So what does this create? If you said our new high, you would be correct. And then we get a pullback like so. This would be, don't have to type it in, I have a preset. This would be our high or low. I'm confusing myself now. This would be our high or low. And you can see how structure is respected. So we would need these highs to be broken to continue our uptrend. And if these lows get taken out, then we're just ranging at this point. So anything that's happening in here, all right, guys? So anything that's, we got this higher low that we can see on the chart right now. I'm not gonna go too far forward. Until we get a break above here, we have a confirmed bullish uptrend. If price does something like this, it doesn't matter. It's just noise. If price starts to break these lows over here, it doesn't matter. It's just noise. Until it breaks the most recent lower low or the most recent newer high or pullback, it's just noise. And you'll see that as we continue here. So this candle breaks above recent structure, which is the wicks, right? So let's move this up like so. So this candle breaks above these highs, correct? So what I was saying, everything in here is just ranging. It's just noise. Because we got a new high, right? Because this is a higher high, I should say. The most lowest point in this range is now your pullback or your new higher low. So the lowest point I can see would be this candle right there, which is that wick. So that is your ebb and flow. You start from your lower low, breaks off structure, new high, pull back to the most recent higher low, which is the lowest point before price made a new higher high, breaking structure right there. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so let me do that again. Got 1, 2, 3. Confirmed uptrend. So now we are waiting for a pullback. So once again, this is not a pullback, higher high, but no higher, two higher lows, lower lows, sorry, next to it. Price pulls up, creates this higher high right here. And that is our ebbs and flows. So you can see the characteristics of price is now setting up for higher highs. We have a break of structure. So we have a break of structure here. And our new higher low. Continuing the ebbs and flows, usually like that, and then back up. You can see we were respecting structure. Is that a pullback in here? No, because this candle next to this one created a higher high with the wick. Okay. Created a higher high. Even though it is lower, it created a high, which is not valid with the rules. So we just move this forward, we move this up. All right. And this becomes our most recent low. So this is now our higher low. This is our higher high. This is our high high. And this is our high high. And the ebbs and flows just keep going. High low, break of structure. So I'll draw this now for you guys as well. So there we go, break of structure. Until these lows get taken out, right? So price does come near it, but it respects structure, it respects this low point. We have this point up here, breaking structure, right? This creates our higher high. This creates our higher low. This creates our high, and drawing the structure back in here, just like so. Nothing's getting violated. Let's continue. So we have the higher low. We have a break of structure. Like so. This candle breaks the structure, and then what happens is you'll see a change of character once this happens. We have a break of structure here, which violates this uptrend. So this uptrend is now invalid, where we got our new high low, break of structure, price creates newer highs, and then what happens is we get a break of structure taking out the most recent structure, I should say. So I almost made a mistake there. There we go. There we go. So this candle pretty much takes out the higher lows here. Just like that. So our long trend and any long ideas we have are now invalid. And once again, you can see the ebbs and flows. Let me turn price action off for you, and you can see exactly what I'm looking at. So just to recap, we're at 48 minutes. So we have high highs where I'm doing my reference points. Geez, try saying that 20 times fast, which I pretty much am. High highs, lower lows. And then the structure starts getting created. We have our new higher high because structure was broken. We have our pullback. We then have a higher high, structure respected. So if I turn this back on, we never had a candle close below that, below those most recent pullback. All right, let me turn this off. We then have higher highs, higher lows, high highs, break of structure, pullback, break of structure, new highs, higher lows, break of structure, and then it gets violated. What happens next is price then starts to change character. We see the bearish trend kick in. So we have the higher lows, lower lows. And I can draw this without even seeing price. All right, so we got that lower low, lower high. I know that we broke structure and we violated the trend, creating the lower lows. So I think that's there like that. And then like this, break a structure, new low, lower high, lower low. So if I was to bring this back on, I just got rid of it all. Bear with me, guys. There we go, low low, low high, lower low, new high, new low, lower high, lower low. All right, and if I bring back on, you can see how I have measured just by using the reference points in structure. Hope this is making sense, everyone. So the fact that I can look at the structure, the lines I'm putting in, BOS, break of structure, new highs, newer lows, high highs, lower lows, all that type of stuff, and draw the ebbs and flows without price action on my chart shows you how significant, how powerful this technique is. And then once we had that break of structure, you can see how the character changes of price. So because we had our lower low and we broke it with a new high, we had that pullback and we broke structure again, right? We broke it to the upside, creating new structure highs. And then what happens is we ebb and flow and we respect it. What I mean by respecting the structure is we're not breaking below the most recent pullbacks. We're respecting structure. This point here was respected. I can tell you right now, you guys have seen I haven't had the shark fin, my TDI indicator on. There is most likely a shark fin here. And there it is. So there's the shark fin right there. My entry point, if I can get the right tool, would be here. Once the RSI comes back into the Bollinger Band, if I get, I wasn't going to talk about entries, but here I am talking about entries, right? This is going to be a very long video. I hope you guys find value in it. I really do. Bam. Just like that is how I am 2R take profit. And if you want to hold a pace, you can. I'm usually out at 2R. And that is my trading. And in fact, I took a trade this morning on AceFX TV Live, this exact trade using this method. So if you are a part of AceFX TV, you'll see me draw these ebbs and flows using this exact technique I'm showing you guys. Break of structure, higher highs. US 30 indices were in a massive bearish trend this morning. And I was buying it. right? Because I identified the reversal. Not that I have a crystal ball and I can predict the tops and bottoms, but the structure was respected at the bottom as we got that new high. Structure was respected at the bottom before price started making highs. All right, so let me get rid of that TDI indicator. And then once again, we can now see what happens. Price breaks below structure. Let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of this because that will be for another video. Break of structure. This creates our, so once again, what are we at? 53 minutes. I'm just gonna go for the hour. Our new high. So whatever that is, we'll go new high. It's actually a higher high. Sorry guys. This creates our new low, right? So new low. It's a new low because it violated structure. Bearish trend is finished, violated, invalid. Not looking for longs at this point. All right. I can guarantee there's probably a shark fin here as well. Yep. So there's the shark fin. If I was to enter on this, I would have probably been stopped out because price didn't move any higher. That's how I'm being selective following the market. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. We now have our higher low. We then have our lower low. Is there two consecutive candles that are higher highs in this example? You guys can see. I'll give you 5 seconds. There is in fact none. So this would not be a pullback based on the rules. And this is why it's so important to have very clear, defined, systematic rules, zero gray areas in your trading. Because if you're looking at this in the market, I would say that is definitely a pullback. There's no denying it's a pullback, right? But it's what you do consistently that's going to make you profitable. And if you don't have rules around it, it's going to be your opinion that defines the pullback. Pullbacks are very easy to define. There's so many ways you can do it. This isn't the only way you can define structure. This is the method I have kind of come up with and the method that works the best on the 1 minute. And I should have put a disclaimer at that in the beginning. I'm actually going to cut this part of the video and put it at the beginning of it. This method works very well on the 1 minute, but you can use it on other time frames. Same principles apply. It's fractal on all time frames and all markets. So continuing on, there is no pullback in here. So yep, the lower low goes to this point, the most recent lower low, which is there. All right. And now we have our consecutive highs following that low, which would set us up for this point over here, making this our higher low. Break of structure. I should put that in there as well. And new low, break of structure. And that's it. And we'll draw out the ebbs and flows. Higher low, break of structure, lower low, pullback, break of structure, lower low. Not a pullback. So let me pause that there. Not a pullback. Because this candle, this bullish candle right here, created a wick low. That is very important too. Created a lower wick, which means it is in fact not a higher high. That is the lowest point now of this trend, right? And then we just continue. So it creates this big range. And that's the low, what's that? That's 282, 288. So this is in fact what we want to look at. If I can bring this like so, and then this is the pullback, right? And then it continues. It just continues. You can see how it's respected. It's always respected. And then it just keeps going. And that's how I'm drawing the ebbs and flows. I really hope you guys got some value out of this video. I am going to upload this for the AceFX members on YouTube. It may be confusing for a lot of other guys out there. If you are getting any value from this, please smash the thumbs up button. And most importantly, drop a comment below what you are missing, what you feel like you don't understand, and I will do a different video, a more compact and a more systematic approach into how to explain it, which I'm gonna have to script it and everything. I just wanted to get this video out there for my YouTube community and the AceFX guys as well, since they are very intrigued and they keep asking me about it. So if you did get any value, smash that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon as well. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, and I'll see you around.